It's time to party like it's 1999. Let's talk about it now on King's Corner. Welcome to King's Corner. I'm your host, Christian King, and on today's episode, we are going over the NBA Finals. It's finally here. We have Knicks, we have Spurs. Spurs are trying to have a new dynasty, this time set with Victor Wembanyama, a.k.a. the Alien. All 7'5" of him is phenomenal, and it's crazy to watch. I was texting my uncle last week, and we were talking about he hadn't seen Wembanyama play before, and he's like, "Wow, can he really shoot like this?" And I tried to tell him. I've been telling him this for probably the last 2-3 years, and it's like somebody this tall should not be this good. It's like the basketball gods created this guy in a lab. I mean, I used to say the same thing about LeBron, and I still believe that about LeBron. But to this, it's like a created player in a video game. You give him the max height. You give him the max length. You say, here, you can shoot, you can dribble, you can play defense. There's not much Wembanyama cannot do. And there's this narrative going around that if you listen to some people, they're like, wow, I mean, you got to go with the Spurs because they got Wembanyama. But some people talk about the Spurs like it's just Wembanyama. And I feel that's very misleading because the Spurs they're a very well-built team. You have Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, De'Aaron Fox. Heck, the role players last week, you had look at Sunday night game 7. We had a white guy named Luke Cornett make the block of, I want to say this decade, the block of this decade. I can't say of the past decade, but of the 2020s, that was the best defensive play of the decade. And it was phenomenal. But Wembanyama he was a reason they won the game, and he was a phenomenal player, but he wasn't the only player. And I feel like people need to give this Spurs team the proper respect they deserve. And Mitch Johnson has been one of the best coaches in all of basketball. But that's one side of the bracket. And then on the other side, we have the New York Knicks, who are in the finals for the first time since 1999 when they lost to, you guessed it, the San Antonio Spurs and a young Tim Duncan. Feels like it's repeating itself, but I would hope on some people. This Knicks team is talented from top to bottom. Mike Brown has done exactly what he needed to do. When Tom Thibodeau was there last year, the big problem was the Knicks ran out of energy because they were playing their starters. They only had a 6-man rotation, and these starters had to play 45, 48 minutes. There's a reason the Knicks haven't been to the finals since then. You're not going to get anywhere when your players are playing 48 minutes a series. They're going to winter down, and it's going to happen every single time. Well, the Knicks finally got smarter, and what'd they do? They went and got Mike Brown, and when it happened, a lot of people were hesitant because Mike Brown, he's been fired from the Cavs twice, got fired from the Kings. But let's not forget, Mike Brown, when he was in his last stop at Sacramento, he was incredible that first year. They almost beat the Warriors the year after the Warriors beat the Celtics in the finals. And I know that's saying because teams are different year to year, but that was still a very dangerous Warriors team. The Kings were a young team. They had De'Aaron Fox. Coincidence? I say not. They had Domantas Sabonis, who before he was with Mike Brown, was he known? Kind of, but he hadn't evolved. Under Mike Brown, he evolved into a very good big man. And that's Kings team, I'm sorry, the K's are getting to me. But that Kings team was a very talented team, and they haven't been the same since they let Mike Brown go. And Mike Brown, everywhere he's went, he's always had a really good rotation. Now, I really can't say that with the young Cavs team because that was with LeBron. I mean, you really can't compare. It's like apples to oranges. You really can't compare it there. But this Knicks team, from top to bottom, is loaded, and you could see it. Round 1, when they were going against the Hawks, it was 2-2, and everyone's like, uh-oh, did they make a mistake with Mike Brown? Because they were still running the Tom Thibodeau system, just they were playing 10 people, and it wasn't working. And Mike Brown finally said after they lost, he said, okay, let me put my handprint on this organization. And since then, the Knicks have been the best team in basketball, no matter the conference, no matter the team. And, can we just get over this? Analytics is the stupidest thing in sports. It's ruined baseball somewhat, and baseball is finally starting to get away from it. Football, it can get very annoying, but with basketball, analytics it makes no sense, and it's ruined the game. A lot of these teams with analytics, they come in now, they're shooting a bunch of threes because it's analytical, it's a better shot, where they just do layups. Mid-range has been killed. And it kills the Knicks. Because of analytics hates the Knicks. The Knicks just won the series 4-0 to the Cavs. But if you look at the analytical score, the Cavs won the series. And you're like, how can a team that lost in 4 games be better than the team that just swept them? It makes no sense, and it will never make sense. But let's transition. because now this is the moment I've been waiting to do. It is time to predict game one of the NBA Finals. Now, tonight, the game's in San Antonio. And while, yes, the Knicks have the advantage because they've had 9 days of rest, I don't think it's going to help them tonight. I think the Spurs will win tonight just because I think the Knicks, they need time to get back into rhythm. We saw at game one of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Knicks had a big rest time versus the Cavs, who had just had a game seven, and the Cavs came out guns a-blazing. But then the Knicks got hot, and they ended up coming back because they could attack James Harden. Newsflash, the Spurs do not have a James Harden for you to get in the rhythm on. So I think tonight's going to be a close game because I think the Spurs are going to be exhausted. But I think that the Spurs are going to end up getting it in the end. I think they're going to win the game. I think they're going to win game one. I'll go ahead and give my finals prediction. I have the Knicks winning in 5 games. I think the Spurs win tonight, and that's it. They might win one more. I could see Knicks in 6, but I think it's going to be Knicks in 5. The Knicks are 12-2 in the playoffs. That's phenomenal. Only 5 other teams can ever say they've actually done that. And I know a lot of people want to bring up the conference when it comes to with the Knicks, but I don't care what conference you're in. If you're 12-2, that's wholeheartedly impressive. And you got to give them a round of applause. And I'm hoping that Jalen Brunson can become the king of New York. And I know that's going to anger someone in my viewership because he's a Yankees fan, but it's got to be said. If he can win New York City a championship, it's going to be ecstatic. New York City is a basketball town. A lot of people want to say it's a baseball or football town. It is neither one. It's the only major city. I know people will say Los Angeles, but I really don't think Los Angeles is as big as a basketball town as New York City is. New York City is basketball through and through. If Jalen Brunson can win the Knicks a championship, he will be the king of New York for the next century. He's hoping to do something that hasn't been done since Walt Frazier, and that's something to say. But anyway, thank you for watching this episode of King's Corner. Please like, please subscribe. If you made it this far, please leave a comment of what you think will happen in this series, this game. What do you make of this series? I think we are in for a treat of an NBA Finals. Even though I only have it going 5 games, I think every game will be close. But thank you for stopping by King's Corner. It's my corner. This is my sports takes. But I also want to be open with you guys. Thank you. Have a wonderful day and enjoy the game.